Maryland GOP gubernatorial candidate Kelly Schultz. And Kelly, good morning. Welcome back to the program.
Hey, good morning to you. How's everything over there on the shore?
A little rainy this morning. We're drying out now with some clouds, hoping for some sun later. But, hey, it's summer at the beach. Can't do too much complaining about that, right? Or if you're inland either, with so many beautiful locales here.
There you go. You go. Well, it's great to be back with you guys and great to talk about everything now that everybody knows early voting ended yesterday. So big election day for everybody's opportunity to go out and vote is on July 19th. And I'm working hard to get the vote and the endorsement of every Marylander across the state.
A lot to get to. We'll try to go rapid fire on this. Something that I haven't asked you yet leading up to is just that why, Kelly, did you decide, or we may have in our very first interview, but why is it that you decided to take the next step to leave as Secretary of Commerce and take the next step here to run for governor? What was the underlying factor? What motivates you every day to go out and put in all this work to run for the governor?
Well, I'll say it's very clear because as working for 7 years in the administration, so hard trying to keep Maryland on the right path was a big issue for me. And we worked hard to make a lot of changes. When I left office in January of this past year, we were the most improved state in the nation for business. We've made a lot of progress. And the scary thing to me is putting one of the unaffordables into office. Having the opportunity to be a checks and a balance for the last 7+ years with the legislature, making sure that there is a conservative, common sense voice that's going to over and precede the out of tax spending and liberals that are in Annapolis. They're out of control, and we have got to keep them in check. And you need a Republican governor in that seat. And I am the only Republican that's running for office that can win and that can beat a Democrat in November. And we need to keep some checks and balances for the sake of our students, our kids, our taxpayers, and our law enforcement. That's why I'm running.
Well, and I know that 8 years ago when Governor Hogan ran, he ran on the 40+ tax and fee increases from the O'Malley administration and needing to get things aligned. And Marylanders, they liked that. And obviously they gave him 2 terms concerning that when it comes to the budget. And Kelly, I mean, you well know, having served that, 82 or 83 cents of every dollar in the budget is already accounted for through legislation. So that makes it even more challenging. But that even reinforces the point that with all the Democrats in Annapolis, that having a Republican as governor is so very, very important to add balance. But it starts, number one, with the budget, as we know.
It really does. It starts with the budget. And you're right. The majority of our spending is mandated funding. But we also have a $7 billion surplus at this point in time. And we as Marylanders worked really hard to be able to make sure that we got out of the deficit that we came into 8 years ago. And now we have a surplus. Great way to go, Maryland, right? But now we're talking about my affordability plan, hitting those Marylanders that have worked so hard throughout their entire lives. We want to be able to keep retirees here, which is why I'm talking about eliminating the taxes on retirement income for all Marylanders. We're talking about freezing the property taxes on all Marylanders who are over 70 years old. We're talking about repealing the inflation tax that we've been talking about a lot, right, which is that gas that's connected to inflation. That's ridiculous. That was a cowardly move by the legislature in 2013, and we're going to take it away. Those students that have gone to school, we're talking about deducting the interest on their state taxes. We're talking about permitting first-time homeowners to deduct the interest on their state taxes from their mortgage for 3 years, eliminating annual business filing fees. We don't even know how that got started, but we need to take that away and exempt the first $25,000 of income in small businesses from their state taxes. It's a big push. I need the legislature to do this, but we have the means to do it, and I believe we have the political drive to do it because Marylanders deserve a break. And that's what we're going to continue to push.
Yeah, and none of those seem to be, items where they're so out in left field that that's not something that wouldn't be, you would think, bipartisan to be able to get enacted there. As it pertains to the budget, and I know I've made this comment many, many times, when we bring up Baltimore City, for instance, and not just the money put in for schools or other items there, but when we talk about how critical the city is to the state, because the state does pour in so much money that if it's failing, then it hurts not just Baltimore City, but the rest of the state as well. So folks on the shore get impacted by that as well, because their hard tax dollars go to, public safety and schools in Baltimore City as well. So, I mean, to that end, you recently had a press conference, though, in Baltimore City about crime, about attacking crime and helping in that situation. For those that missed it, what were some of the highlights of that?
Yeah, well, it goes on with my major theme, and thank you for bringing it up, because without safety, nothing else matters. And I was the Chief Economic Development Officer for this state. And I can tell you that when you go around the country and you try to recruit businesses or you try to expand businesses in the state, one of their first questions every single time is, yeah, but do I want to move my family to Maryland? And they think about the crime in Baltimore. We have got to get it under control. So we put out some very strong messages on violent crime, making sure that Baltimore City has not only what they need, but they're accountable not only to Baltimore City residents, but to Maryland residents, because we have got to get it under control. And I, as governor, will do everything that I can in order to be able to make that happen. We're going to put people in charge specifically to look at Baltimore City so that it can be taken care of.
And in addition to that, and I think you had made mention, though, as well to me in an interview that, look, Baltimore City as well has to be accountable for Baltimore City. There's only so much that a governor can do, but obviously the use of your platform as much as possible is going to be important to continue to give that nudge, if not a push to action.
Yeah, immediately upon being sworn in as governor, I'm going to implement a Baltimore Crime Commission, and that's going to be made up of crime, justice, and law enforcement experts from around the state and around the country. Other large cities have had a chance to be able to make amends and to turn their cities around. Baltimore City isn't there. We are looking at record numbers of murders. And these murders are happening in broad daylight today. And we cannot stand for that. We need to bring in people to be able to provide the state with some support, because Baltimore City doesn't look as if they're making those amends and making those changes on their own. But we're going to make sure that our police officers have everything that they need, because they are the heroes that are out there every day that are battling this, and we're going to give them everything that they need. We're not only going to refund them, but we are going to defend them, because that's what we do in a Kelly Schultz administration.
Kelly, got about 2 minutes left. I brought this up with you last week when we talked about it. Again, for voters on the fence that are making the decision between you and your opponent in terms of in a Schultz administration, if, again, we should be hit with another pandemic, how will the Schultz administration handle it this time around?
Listen, we've learned a lot over the course of the last 2+ years, going to 3 years now. We learned that Marylanders know how to keep themselves safe. I am not a proponent, have not been a proponent of mask mandates or vaccine mandates. We're going to keep things open. We're going to provide people with the resources that they need in order to keep themselves safe and healthy. But businesses need to continue, schools need to continue, just as they are today.
Kelly, about 30 seconds. Why are you the best candidate for the job?
You know, listen, the Democrat Governors Association has put in now over $2 million to be able to prop up my main opponent, Dan Cox, in this campaign, because he could not do it himself. I am the best candidate. The Democrats know that I'm the one that can beat them in November. They know that when I win on July 19th, my Republican primary, that I will beat any Democrat that comes out to support us or to run against us, because they know that Marylanders want to be able to continue to have common sense leadership, fiscal conservatism, and to be able to have a Republican in the office that's going to be able to create a checks and balance for Marylanders. We are on the right path. We need to continue on that path. Going backwards with any other candidate will mean for a very, very, very different Maryland than what it is today. And I'm going to fight like hell to get to that finish line, because I'm doing it for your kids, I'm doing it for my kids, I'm doing it for our grandchildren, because it's the next generation that needs that opportunity to succeed. That's why we're doing it.
Kelly, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You as well.